I think all of them have se as one, sometimes written as se. If you look at old texts, then you have I think that's more of a object more than with self, I guess, feelings. But I could be wrong. I'm saying I think Teolo is like saying you got nothing. Like Teolo. Um,
I mean, like, what's in the bag or something? Like,
I guess that could work. If you're actually talking about something with a noun, I think I don't think you can use it as I don't feel nothing or I'm not feeling nothing. Yeah. And then let me go back to the numbers here. Ome, which is pretty much the same. But some of the old text has the old V for the O. I don't know if you ever read old texts in Nahuatl. Funny. Yeah, Ome. Okay. Then you have, in Puebla, it's A for 3, but in classical is Ye.
Mine
I
has
think
both.
like
Yeah, it's
it could be either A or AE or Yay,
Ye.
or it could be
A.
anything really. Pretty much anything that has an E and an
Yeah,
I.
A, the way I have it, the first one is the Puebla way, and Ye as classical. Um, then you have Nawi for 4, also spelled as Nawi. Um, yeah,
That's the more
I
bookable one.
seen pretty much all
Now,
3 except for the YY for 3. Yeah, Nawi for 4. Then there's a different way to say 5. Um, I'm used to saying Makwil for 5, which is the Pueblo way, which I think, and there's like 2 other ways to say it. Yeah, Makwili is one. And I think there's like Makli, I think is the other one, or like I don't remember. There's like a weird one. I don't remember. I just never seen it in another language.
I don't know, but Makwili is the
Yeah,
bookish
and then you have
No, mine has Makwili.
yeah, then you have Sek Kuwa
one.
Sekuansen, which I think is a different way in classical for 6.
Some of these, mostly the
Yeah,
bookish
it
ones,
doesn't have the N. It's just
Yeah,
Chikwase.
a lot of these
Yeah.
have like long
yeah,
vowels.
and then this one's pretty easy. This one I think is like every dialect has it the same. Chikome for 7. Um,
Yeah.
Chik
Yeah, I think
Chikwe, um, Chikwe for 8. I think it's a different way to say in classical. I think I don't remember.
if I write it down, it's probably classical.
Probably.
Yeah, mine has classical and it has Chikwe.
Okay, Chikwe. Yeah, stress out the.
Maybe without the Y is okay too.
Yeah. Then you have
Because it's not like classical is going to be like totally consistent. Because especially when the Spanish first got there, like they had no idea how to write things
yeah.
down.
I was gonna say that you're talking about a whole different. Pretty much I would say it was about. I think the first writings of Nahuatl. It's like 3 to 6 years. No, 6 years after the conquest. First writings of Nahuatl in the Latin text, which is very amazing to get a whole language that no one has written about and then get it all translated into a written language within that time, which to me seems pretty incredible. Then you have Chikonawi for 9, which has an H.
The way
I think have an IH.
chew.
Okay.
The language for writing was more of symbolic for, I guess, Nahuatl. The Mayan actually had letters. Well, not really letters. Characters that represent letters, just like characters that represent the alphabet represent letters. I don't like to consider hieroglyphs because hieroglyphs I think of just like these symbols that I don't know how to describe it. It's like
Maybe pretty similar to that. Yeah, you definitely spelled it wrong.
yeah, hieroglyphics, graphics, tongue twist. Yeah, I don't like to use hieroglyphics. It just seems so. It seems like they never really advanced the language. But if you look at the way they written it during the, I guess call it pre times to all the way to I guess the classical period, you see that the language gets more advanced and more creative and gets more fancy. But you can kind of understand it. Like I have a book here on the Mayan writing here.
I assume that modern Mayan is written with like a Latin
Correct.
script.
Let me look for the way the classical has it. Well,
Yeah, that's what I think so too.
And I think that the Aztecs, they had their own way of
yeah.
writing things. So I don't know, it's probably kind of the same
So
deal.
here's all the
Okay.
different styles of saying
Isn't
ka.
that Mayan
These are
glyphs?
Mayan glyphs, yes. The first one I was pointing out is ka.
So they may have been a little more advanced for the
Yeah.
Mayans, but it's kind of the same ballpark, I think. I don't know.
Now it's more like you write, I would say like tiltik or tiltik would be, you make the glyph of the wind and then you just blacken it out. And then that'll be black wind, or you base the symbol based on what you're supposed to say, or
Yeah,
it's the best way.
And they may have had like a few, may have substituted like, if something sounded kind of like something else, they may have used that character.
With Tot,
that's what I get the impression of.
yeah, I personally think Toltec spoke Nahuatl. Like I'm saying, because he had,
I have no idea what they.
huh?
I said I have no idea what they spoke.
Yeah, we don't even know what they call
That's
themselves. So I mean,
correct. But I personally think it was Nahuatl because a lot of the tribes after I guess the fall of the Toltecs, they're all speaking Nahuatl, or so they claim to be descendants. But of course, it could be in all political reasons. It's like, oh, we're descendants of Toltecs. You're not. Screw you, type thing.
we're better than you,
Yeah, type of.
like the Greeks did.
I don't even know what the Greeks
What about the
believed.
Greeks?
Like I don't
What?
know what they would believe. I'm saying Greeks had city states. They pretty much had their own clit. Anybody who wasn't part of their city, they kind of saw them as different. Um, I think that's one thing I didn't like about 300, the first movie, was they made the Greek Spartans look like one. Like, oh, we're all one group of people. But it's like, no, they were city states. They would fight against each other.
Well, when the Persians left, they were all back to fighting each
Yeah.
other. I'm sure.
Well, I'm talking about, they're like the Spartans believed that they were descendants of the Hercules and ipso facto descendants
I
of
thought
Zeus.
Spartans thought they
So
were
therefore, they're mightier.
Hermes, wasn't it? Mercury. I
What's
thought
that?
they were descendants of. They thought they were descendants of Hermes, or is that another group I'm thinking about? The Spartans.
Maybe because the Spartans, it was Hercules, but you were cutting out there though.
Oh, I said.
What was the
I
first
said. I
thing you
thought
said?
the. My brain's farting. I thought the Spartans claimed to be descendants of Hermes. I didn't. But I know I'm very wrong in the Greek history. Well, 300.
That's true. There was a real.
It was a real battle.
Minus the freak.
Well, I'm saying the comic of 300 was based on a summary based on someone. It was pretty much a summary of a summary, and then the guy's like, "Okay, I'll just write a comic about that," and he wrote the comic. And
I'm sure they made a lot of stuff.
yes, they did. So that's
Well, in fact, there was actually about 1,000 total. It's just they had 300. What's it called? In their phalanx, they actually had slaves and auxiliary warriors with
yeah.
them. And I'm pretty sure Darius didn't walk around, or I mean Xerxes didn't walk around in a gold speedo. Like they had him in the
Yeah, that was
movie,
weird.
and Spartans didn't. Well, I mean, it was weird. I mean, why were the Spartans were covered in armor, covered in bronze armor? That's what they were known for. Yet in 300, they're just wearing black underwear and a red cape.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't really get that.
yeah.
It's just Hollywood.
Oh, Apocalypto, I didn't like that one. That's like the best way to summarize Apocalypto is if someone who didn't know but much about the Mayans looked at a random graphic book and then said, "Oh, okay, I have to have this, I have to have that," you know. I'll say that's the best way to describe what I saw in the movie theater. I called in sick that day for work just to go on the opening day. Yeah,
I've seen most of it, and it just, I mean, yeah, the Mayan community got really pissed off, especially, when it showed them doing the human sacrifices, because, I mean, that wasn't them. And I think it showed, if I'm not mistaken, they were sacrificing to Kukulkan, right, in the movie? Is that right? It's been a while
yeah,
since I've
they
seen it.
supposedly Kukulkan, but then they had different. They had the mask of chalk for the priest, and I'm like, okay, so they're doing Kukulkan or chalk? I don't even know because like the mask were.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Kukulkan is the Mexica Quetzalcoatl,
Yes,
right?
Kukulkan.
That's just a word for
That
him.
is the Yucatec Mayan.
And Quetzalcoatl never actually demanded human sacrifice.
I'll say it depends on the text you go with, but not Chakmul, Chak. Let me see.
Yeah, it's just.
The mask they were wearing, the priests were chalk mask, and I'm like, okay, is it Kukulkan or chalk? These guys don't seem to know what's going on, and I remember watching it, and I'm like, I hope people don't take this seriously. But there were some people who were talking, and I'm like, you know, you know.
'Cause, yeah, I mean, looking back from what I remember, the whole setup looks like it's Mexican.
Mm, well, the pyramid,
I mean,
yes, I would say the pyramid, the sacrifice. It was supposed to be based on which book was it supposed to be based on? They copy. It looked like Mel Gibson copied that scene of that sacrifice, and the head kind of falls down. I forget which old book it's based on. It's like an old 1700 book. I don't remember. Yeah, the whole sacrifice. It's based on some book. I don't remember exactly, but I'm saying the whole. I don't even know how they did that basketball head sacrifice thing. You saw like the head was falling down, and it goes into a
I don't
hoop.
think I remember. It's been years since I've seen it, so I mean, I'd have to go look at it
Yeah,
again.
well, I'm saying the last time I seen it was in theaters, and I still watched it, and I'm like, were they serious about that? I'm like, is this a comedy? I'm like,
So basically, it's like someone who wrote that didn't really know a lot about the actual Mayan
yeah.
culture.
It looks like he got different people to do different
Well,
things.
And
kind of
did they ever say what tribe it was of the Mayans?
Based on the language, I would say Yucatec, because that's the language they're speaking.
Mhm. Oh, okay.
Well, at least classical Yucatec, but that's another thing I didn't like was all the main actors were not Mayan. They were like other tribes in the United States. The main actors. 'Cause I looked at him like
No, that was.
I remember seeing the movie. I'm like, that guy can't be Mayan. That guy has features that don't even resemble Mayans. Because
So does anyone here know any Mayan?
I
I mean, like, I don't know any.
I don't know any Mayan. Like, the only Mayan I know is like the classical, based on the books.